Welcome back, sparklers, to another episode of Ignite Your Spark with me, your host, Kim Duff Selby. I am so delighted, so excited to bring you a very special episode with Chef Whitney Aronoff. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. I talk a little bit about food and how important I think that is to our healing journey. And we're going to learn more about this with Chef Whitney. She is based in Laguna Beach, California, and she's a health supportive personal chef. And she got started in this after she struggled with food allergies and stomach pains with no solutions. Hello, I get that. And she decided to learn how to heal herself with food. She is a graduate of the culinary school from the Natural Gourmet Institute in NYC, my favorite city. And she believes the healthiest meal you can eat is the one you make at home. I love that. And in 2020, Chef Whitney launched Starseed Kitchen Organic Spices, where she shares her custom seasonings to support us all in making healthy meals at home. I've got to try those. I have not yet, full disclosure, but going to. And she also has a podcast, which is so informational, called High Vibration Living with Chef Whitney Aronoff. And I know you will love that. And after you listen to mine, I want you to go right onto Spotify or wherever you get your podcast and listen to her. So one of the things that Whitney loves is she believes eating is a transfer of energy between our energetic being and the food we eat. And, I'm not going to read anymore. I'm just going to let you hear from the source herself. Thank you so much, Whitney, for joining me here today.
Thank you for the beautiful introduction.
Oh, of course. I really want to hear all about Starseed Kitchen, how you got your start. However, I would like to ask you, as I do my guests, how do you ignite your spark?
Ooh, so it's interesting. When I was on the journey to figure out my next path in my early 30s, I was angry and frustrated, didn't enjoy my job, knew I was stuck. And my mom wasn't quite liking my attitude every time I came to visit. And she said, you need to find your spark. Like, you need to get back and find that thing that makes you happy and who you really are, because the way you're behaving right now is not you.
Oh,
So what I did is I closed my eyes and I think about a time when I was really happy as a kid. And I went back to being 7 years old and playing on the beach and spinning and twirling. And I could remember that feeling, that joy when I was at that age and that point in my life and those things that I was doing that made me happy. And I focused on that feeling, and I started to lean into when and where I would feel that again as an adult. And it was when I was exploring everything health, wellness, and woo-woo. Everything spiritual, meditation, crystals, a good massage, an infrared sauna, a great workout, a yoga class, a quiet Friday night in, all those things like brought back that same feeling, ignited that spark. And so I wanted to lean in and figure out a way that I could live that every single day and help other people find those modalities that made them feel good. So that's what lights up my spark, is leaning into all those things. And then just making sure that every day I get to do one of those things that bring me joy.
Oh, so perfect. Such, not that there's a wrong or right answer to that question, of course, because it's different for everybody. But what you just said at the conclusion of that was finding something every day that ignites that same spark. And I wouldn't have said it the same way because that was very eloquent. Sometimes I am and sometimes I'm not, but that's exactly what I try to do. I think that's so important, so vital for everybody to do something that lights them up inside every single day, because when you're lit up, everybody else around you gets lit up and excited. And I can tell just by seeing you and speaking with you that you are living your vision, you are living your path now. And before we get into talking about food itself, because that is really what I do want to focus on, and wellness, but tell us about your journey to getting there. You said that you had food allergies and unexplained stomach pains. Were you in I know you were in a different job. I don't know what it was, but what other than your mother saying, find that spark, What was it? How did you get your initial start into this journey, combining all of the woo, the spiritual, the emotional, the physical, etheric bodies together to heal us?
Well, I found that it took the time for me to focus on all my four bodies in order to heal those gut issues. And I started experiencing them in high school. And it would usually start after dinner and or when I lay down to go to bed. That's when my stomach would start gurgling. I'd get bloated. I'd have stomach pain in the same spot. And I'd go to different, general practitioners, and they would never ask me what I was eating or about my lifestyle or about like my mindset, stress, social issues, anything. They just would tell me, I just need to eat more fiber, eat more broccoli, I'll be fine. And the issues never went away. And they just kept getting worse and developing into more and more things. And then I started gaining weight and having inflammation and just, things when you don't deal with them, your body will just keep trying to communicate with you in new ways. And those issues will keep compounding until you recognize them and notice them and start to explore them and then release them. And so it took the combination of upgrading my diet. And, we are constantly learning something new about the food that we eat. So it's, really just constantly finding upgrades and tweaks and swaps to getting back to eating real food and preparing that food properly. And then it's working on just self-care and, relaxation and stress management, and then self-love. And then it's the spiritual work. Like I found a lot of my gut issues had to do with either past lives that I was recognizing, or maybe something in my blood, something ancestral that just needed to show itself to me. But it took me dealing and moving through all those things to then being able to wake up one day and not have chronic stomach pains.
Oh, I can't imagine, because some days I don't have pains, but you explored them, and was there one particular modality that assisted you in your healing journey in particular?
I would say there's maybe 3 or 4. So one would be upgrading my diet. So actually getting back to eating real whole foods and then preparing them properly. So like learning that we're supposed to wash our rice and ideally soak it, wash our quinoa, that soups and bone broth and slow cooked foods are really good for you, that you get more energy from dark meat than you do from white meat. When you start to look at the way the animal's body is shaped and the way that animal's physically moving, and you start to picture, okay, like the thighs work harder than the breasts. So maybe the thighs carry more energy in them, and maybe I should be eating that when I want energy instead of a breast, because would an animal, if it was eating me, would it go straight for the breasts? Probably not.
Not my breasts.
Yeah, it would go straight for the part of the body that's going to be carrying the more energy because they're looking for energy. And so that was like number 1. And then number 2, I would say, is just getting emotions out of the body. Like, I'm a good girl. I'm nice. I'm polite. I know how to behave properly in public. All those things that I think most of us kind of grow up with. We want to be good people. We want to be kind to our friends, our neighbors, to strangers. But sometimes we're shoving a lot of emotions down, especially in the workplace, in order to behave the way you perceive that you're supposed to behave. And that can ultimately be shown in the body in negative ways. And so I had to get that out, whether that's going on a hike and screaming, or, doing a dance class, playing tennis, going to a therapist, like getting that out really, really helped. I would say another thing that really helped was occasional juices with colonics or enemas, like just getting old stuff out of your body. And then lastly would be exploring past life. So trusting that when I lay down at night and have a stomach pain and I put my hand there and I see a movie play in my head, that I don't just have a very vivid imagination, that maybe there's something to that storyline, and going to other people and seeing if they recognize the same storyline when they touch my body or my skin, and then figuring out how to clear that from my body so I don't have to keep living that and carrying that.
Amazing. And what seems to be most interesting to me is that you did this all your own on your own. You were able to explore these paths really with the knowledge that you have ingrained in you from past lives or in your DNA, because so many of us go constantly, myself included, to other people. Well, maybe this person can heal me and this person can heal me, instead of looking deeper within. And it appears, correct me if I'm wrong, that your journey really took you to the food as the primary source of healing for your body, and you're able to share that out with the world now.
I would say the food is the foundation. So if I was building a house, or building any sort of structure, the structural engineer starts first in building that foundation, and then we go up from there. And so I've just learned over the years that my structural foundation has to be set with food, and then everything else can grow and evolve or like better submerge into my body. So I just found the more I upgraded the type of food that I ate or prepared more of it myself, then my third eye opened up. I became more aware. I could answer my own questions. I could be my own healer. Like those things blossomed within me as I kept improving my food that I put inside me.
Yeah, I think that is so interesting, and I really want to talk about the food. And something I read on your website said, and I'm obviously not getting this correctly, but I've heard it from other people, it is that it's not just the food, it's where it's grown, it's the people who grew it. And I'm paraphrasing here. It's the people who took the time to pick the food. All of that is energy, and the energy that it receives from the earth that it where it grows. I mean, I personally have a lot of questions about food and how fresh it should be, and do you need to buy it every single day, because I know that it is energy and it is vibrational. But talk to us a little bit about the vibration aspect of food and the importance of why and how we can ingest the right food. Now, I know it's a whole issue and not everybody, and I know that fast food, no, I mean, I know that I don't eat that now, but I did, and
Oh,
I'm,
me too. Yeah,
oh,
there was a time, and I'm horrified.
yeah, me too.
But I got to give myself grace. I did the best for what I knew then.
Right.
And I couldn't even eat that if that was put in front of me now. And there's even certain coffee companies out there that I could never drink from again, because it sounds silly to some people, but I can't even handle the vibrational energy of that. So like I'm not even drawn to those places anymore. Does that make sense?
Oh, me too. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's an energetic blueprint that we all have. And then we connect with people that are at that same frequency. And as we change, we are connected to other things with that frequency. And hopefully we're going in an upward spiral, because there's only two types of energy on this planet. There's upward spiral and there's downward spiral. And we've all been in a downward spiral place. We all know what that feels like. And we all know that we have to, we all know when we've been in it, that we're in something that is not good for us, and we got to get out.
Yeah.
And we all know what it feels like to be in the upward spiral as well. So those are the two energies on the planet, and you'll start to connect with the energies that want to move you in that direction. So I think it's the same with food, is you'll keep being called to foods, whether it's restaurants or, fast casual, or, grocery stores, or the foods you want to prepare. You'll keep connecting to what's right for you. You have to lean into that. And it's, as it's going to keep changing. You're not going to keep eating the same thing you ate in high school for the entire length of your life. Right. And I think with women, we're constantly thinking, gosh, if I just maybe ate the same way I ate in high school or college or my early 20s, like maybe I'll have that body again. But that's not it, right?
Right.
And so our bodies are going to keep changing. The food that we need is going to keep changing. The portions are going to keep changing. And so we just have to stay aware and recognize that, and then just continue to upgrade as we go.
All right. I like that. I get that. And it's funny, I am always drawn to Thai food. I mean, if I'm going to go out, it's Thai food that I want, or natural. People always say, well, can you find something to eat at this restaurant? And I'm like, well, maybe not. Okay. Because I'm,
That's okay. I mean, I think food is really personal.
yeah.
So, and there's no reason to ever have a bad meal. Like there really isn't. So it's okay to be mindful and lean into when you don't feel like the place is right for you.
Yeah, that's awesome, often. But let's go into, can you tell us some vibrational foods that we should, and I don't mean should all be eating, but if we want to increase our longevity, say, or we want to live a healthy and feel good life, let's hear some great high vibrational foods from you.
Sure. So first and foremost, it's whole real food in their natural state. So I think there's a lot of food fear around certain types of vegetables or certain type of fruits. But I
Yes.
mean, it's all a blessing. It's all natural abundance. Lean in to the real whole foods, whether it's fruits or vegetables, legumes, beans, nuts, seeds, but lean into the best version of those things. So try to find ones that are in season, so it's spring, going to be summer, lean into the stone fruit. Don't go buy an apple right now, because the apple is being held in a storage or some type of facility, potentially gassed. So it, probably waxed. So just you lean into what's fresh and what's in season and its whole version. You prepare it properly. You drink pure or filtered water. You lean towards water that's in glass, not water that's in plastic. You're using real sea salts and understanding that salt, just like everything else on the market now, you need to read your ingredients. So you're simply looking for the best, highest quality of all the different types of foods, oils, fats, foods out there.
Okay.
That is high vibrational food. Low vibrational food would be the processed versions of any of those things. It would be deep fried foods, pasteurized food, shelf stable food, factory farmed food, those more high processed lunch meats, partial food. So, the liquid egg whites that you see at the grocery store. It would be the prepackaged orange juice, which has chemical scents added into the orange juice. So when you open it up, it smells fresh. Microwave food, which is carrying a frequency that isn't a health supportive frequency. Those would all be the opposite of high vibration foods.
Okay. I get that. Now, there are so many people out there who will say, don't eat fruit. There's too much sugar in fruit. And it bothers me because I love fruit, and I happen to be one of those people who loves fruit and vegetables. I do. And I go to Whole Foods. Thank you very much. But if you want to sponsor me, that's fine. But that's not every day. I literally go almost every day. It happens to be the closest market to me. But I also like to have my fresh fruit, but it's still not that fresh, right? I mean, their broccoli, they've had to keep it somewhere, right?
Yes. So to give people an idea of kind of the food process,
Yeah.
so let's say there's a farm. The farm is going to ship their produce to a distributor. So the broccoli goes from the farm to a distributor's warehouse. That distributor then holds it for 24 hours and then ships it to whoever they're selling it to, whether that's a restaurant or a grocery store. Then that grocery store maybe will put it on the shelves. Maybe they'll put it on the shelves the next day or the day after that. And then maybe you show up the next day or the day after that. So, I mean, there's still, some time in between there. And then this all depends, we're in California. So was that broccoli picked from a field in California, or was that broccoli picked in Mexico or in Florida or another state? So how long did it take to get from that state to your state's distribution center to then your grocery store. So if that helps people better understand the amount of time it takes, that will determine the nutritional and energetic content of your food. Because as we all know, the longer it's been out of the ground or off the tree, the more nutrition that's been lost. Now, there are some things that have to be picked in order to ripen. So bananas, you have to take them off the tree when they're green, and then they ripen over the week. Avocados are the same thing.
Yeah.
You have to pick them. So like it works well with certain foods, doesn't work as well with other foods. So that's why you often hear, go to your farmer's market, because the food's going to be more nutritionally dense, more flavorful. But a lot of what I am trying to teach is for people not to have any food stress. So you just do the best with your current circumstances, and, just do your best, bless the food, play some nice high vibration music, have fun in the kitchen, exert your joy into the meal that you are preparing, and then just relax. And, we can only stress so much over what we don't have control of.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that you say prepare it with joy. Some people, you've heard the Italian mamas that they make their food and their salsa, as their gravy, as they call it, whatever, and they impart it with love, and that food tastes so much better. And I believe that there is something to that. And I'm going to start taking that into account, like listening to some music when I'm cooking, because I'll tend to listen to a podcast or something.
Oh, that's okay. I do too sometimes. Like I have a few different types of, sometimes I cook in silence just because my mind needs to process information. Sometimes I play a podcast as well. Usually I like to do the podcast when I am tapping into some stuff that I've meal prepped and I'm just putting food together a little more efficiently. When I'm starting from scratch and preparing like a beautiful meal, that's when I'll turn on. I like to listen to White Sun. It's a Grammy award-winning musical group that sings Kundalini mantras. So you can find the mantra of what you want to infuse into your life. So you can actually, so if you look at their songs and all their albums, they've won multiple Grammys. Their music will change your life. And each song is the title of what they're singing about. And you can just Google what it means, and that can help you find the different frequencies or mantras that you want to invite into your life. You can find all different ones, whether it's for abundance, prosperity, longevity, joy, protection. There's all different ones. And I just like listening to their albums. I usually just don't pick a song and play it over and over and over again, but I do have friends that have taken some of their music and put it at a low volume in their house, played it 24/7, and they've gotten the results of that mantra.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. It's, what's it called? Subliminals. Subliminals is what I guess it is. I have a friend, Stephanie Keith, a podcast. I mean, she's all about the manifesting, and she has an app, and on her app there are different subliminals, and it's just beautiful music or sounds, and the subliminals play underneath it. And I love that. It makes me feel good. I'm going to definitely try this. This is great. I want to go back to the food for a second. What are your thoughts on, I want to talk about meat too.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about smoothies. And if there is a benefit to the protein powder in the smoothie, which I don't do a lot, but it's funny. This morning I was making a smoothie because I don't eat I don't eat meat, I eat fish, but I feel like I need protein. So I was using some protein powder and put some frozen bananas, frozen wild blueberries, frozen cranberries, some barley juice powder. I do not do this, but maybe once a week at the most. But I didn't have a lot of time. It wasn't something I wanted to eat. But are smoothies good? Some people have smoothies every day. And I just don't know if there's a benefit to smoothies or not.
Does it make you feel good?
Yeah, I felt good today. Yeah.
Does it hold you and satiate you through the morning?
Well, I don't know. We'll see. No, I'm going to say that's why I don't usually have smoothies. I did today for a variety of reasons. It's what I had, frozen food, and there was frozen fruit. So it was, oh, I froze the bananas, I did all that. But no, I don't think that, I think there's too many, when I want to say calories, because I don't count calories, I don't care about calories, but I think there's too many calories mushed up. And I actually like to eat, I like to feel the chewing sensation, and I get fuller that way. That's interesting. But is it more just about how you feel when you ingest that? Some people can do it, some people can't.
I think a lot of people think it works well for them. I'm not in their body, so I don't know if it actually works well for them. There is a practitioner who I adore. Her name's Rebecca Wood, and she's based in Northern California. She wrote a book called The New Whole Foods Encyclopedia, and she's a face reader. So she can read your face and figure out where there's digestive problems, stress, pain, issues in the body, and will help you change and adjust your diet according to what's going on with your face, your teeth, your lips, your nose, all of it. Huge fan of hers. And I love that book of hers. And she talks a lot about, well, smoothies are a modern food, right?
Mhm.
Because we haven't had blenders for that long, especially blenders that are as high powered as like the Vitamix is today, that can really just liquefy anything and everything. And it's a little different when you liquefy a soup because it's a warming food. And traditionally humans have had warm food for many, many centuries, thousands of years. We've been heating food over fire. Cold food is also new. So cold food has been around for about 100 years, maybe a little bit longer. And, in the winter time, people in the West still drink smoothies, drink iced coffees, and then they complain about being cold, And if you want to warm up, then you eat warm foods. Traditionally in the winter, you're not just reaching for food that's actually hot and warm. You're reaching for foods that are going to create digestive fire, just natural warmth from within. So you're reaching for ginger and cayenne and spices and foods that depict the color of warmth. So that would be like butternut squash, acorn squash, beets, all these foods that are those warm tones to create that warmth naturally from within. And then if you also think about Chinese medicine, and Ayurvedic medicine, you're always putting food in your stomach that are going to create digestive fire, that's going to support the digestive process. And you would never hear of putting cold things in there, which essentially puts out the fire. So then first thing in the morning, you're putting in something cold that's going to put out your fire. It's going to put out your spark.
Don't like that. No
We
more
don't like that. So this is the thing, what I do with smoothies is I just consider them as a treat. Like if I'm craving them, if that's what I have the convenience for, I'll have a smoothie, maybe one, twice every now and then. And it's just kind of like a treat, but I don't do it very often because overall it just doesn't make me feel good. It gives me that satisfaction in the moment because it's like having ice cream, but it doesn't make me feel good by the end of the day. So,
Right.
but
No,
I think,
thank you. And
yeah,
that was my sense when I was making, and that's always been my sense. I know that I need warming foods. In the Ayurvedic tradition, I know that. And that's why I follow everything up with my hot tea.
I love that.
Honestly, I mean, I drink hot water and lemon in the morning, then I drink my regular tea, then I drink my, ginger tea. You're right, because I'm always wanting that warmth. That's so, okay. Well, thank you for that. And I hope that, sheds a light for some people on smoothies who are obsessed with drinking smoothies every day, which I don't.
Yeah. Just consider it a treat, just like ice cream's a treat, like, I mean, don't eliminate it from your diet and then beat yourself up when you have it. But when you have it, enjoy it. But just know that, 365 days a year isn't going to make you healthier.
Right. That's what we want. We want to be our healthiest self. And that's interesting that you said don't beat yourself up. I think that's true with anything. If you're going to have the chocolate chip cookie, don't immediately, because you're changing the vibration probably when,
I
I don't know,
completely agree.
but when you're
Yeah.
like, oh no, I shouldn't have had that. Then it's like, well, yeah, your body's like, well, oh yeah, maybe we shouldn't have. Maybe let's rebel. I don't know. But enjoy whatever that is. I try to do that. Let's talk about meat.
Yeah.
you eat meat. I saw on your website, you have some wonderful recipes. Oh my goodness, some
Yeah.
great recipes. I'm hoping there's a cookbook in your future.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah. But you do eat meat.
Mhm.
And that's interesting that you were talking about the dark meat. Talk to me a little bit about meat. And there's so much about in terms of the planet and how reducing your meat consumption can actually assist our planet. I don't really eat red meat, but I don't care if people do. I don't have an issue with that. But talk to me about meat.
Yeah, so meat is one of the greatest grounding foods on the planet, and everyone needs to decide what works best with their body. Being vegan and vegetarian does not work with my body. I got extremely ill when I tried doing that for a year. My skin turned orange, my body stopped producing bile. It I wasn't digesting food. It was quite a nightmare that I had to come back from, and I like to consider that I was a healthy vegan, meaning that I was eating real food, not eating processed food. I think people need to step away from the sustainability aspect. There's a lot that can be said about the processed vegan meats that are on
Oh,
the market and what that's actually doing to the planet.
yeah.
I think, with anything that's being sold as sustainable, when you look deeper at any of those products, whether it's food, cars, whatever you want to call it, it's often not what meets the eye. It's about whoever has the best marketing initiatives
Hmm.
that can really sell their story and that has a lot of people on board to sell their story. But if we just look at meat and how it makes us feel and really the transfer of energy that's going on, because that's what it's really all about. Like, let's just get back to the fact that we need to eat, we need a transfer of energy, and everything that we choose to consume for energy is going to make us feel different ways. So when we eat something that's hanging from a tree and that's up by the sun, a peach, an apple, an apricot, that's going to make us feel one way versus when we eat a melon, which is kind of sitting on the earth. You notice you feel different when you eat a melon than when you eat something like an apple or orange or something that's a little lighter hanging from the air. If you're really in tune with yourself, you can kind of feel the difference. Like, you'll usually feel a little bit heavier when you have a melon. And then you think about a beet or a tuber, something that's growing into the earth, a sweet potato. That makes you feel even a little heavier. And it's not heavy so much, it's grounded, right? And so one of the most grounding foods on the planet is animal protein. And so if you're someone that's like super spiritual, you meditate a lot, or maybe you're just that kind of soul that's naturally kind of always trying to get out of your body and floating away, eating meat, whether that's fish, turkey, poultry, beef, wild game, whatever it is, it really forces you to be back inside your body, which is the life we're all meant to experience while we're a soul here on earth. Like, it's great to leave your body and have those spiritual experiences, but this is like the solo mission. This is the experience. So we got to be in it. And that's one of the best gifts about animal meat. And granted, we're all from different backgrounds. We're all made up of families that have lived at all different parts of the world and traditionally eaten all different ways. So I think everyone just really needs to find what their body currently digests best for who they are as a soul and the life they're currently living and their ancestry. And you kind of use that information to build the diet that works for you, as well as what's around you. And then you find the best quality that you can for whether your budget or what's available.
So beautifully said. I mean, Whitney, I'm just like in awe. I just want to, pick your brain about every little thing. And I feel a sense of relief talking to you. And I think that many people feel the same way. I don't want to speak for other people, but we are constantly inundated with information and good, bad, indifferent. The medical medium, drink your celery juice every morning. Well, I've tried that. and I don't enjoy that. That doesn't do anything for me. I didn't feel 1 ounce different than before drinking it. And I think a lot of what he has to say is good, but not all of it is suitable for everybody. But we as a population tend to, I don't want to say idolize, but we give our power away
Yeah.
to those who we see in the media or the public eye, instead of what I've really gained and gleaned from you, to use sort of a food harvesting word, is
Mhm.
to tune into your own body, maybe eat something that isn't good for you or it's processed, and see how you feel versus something else. And when you were talking about picking a fruit from a tree versus one on the ground, in my mind I could visualize, oh yeah, an apple, I do get that lighter, and oh, I can visualize, I can picture what you were
Yeah.
saying. And I happen to adore sweet potatoes. It's one of my favorite foods on earth.
Me too.
And I feel so good when I eat them. My husband is probably so sick of eating sweet potatoes because I make them
Oh,
a lot.
it's okay. Japanese yams, which are
The
the
white
sweet
ones
potato with the I like the ones with the red skin, but it's white on the
on the
inside.
inside. Yep.
And then when you're in Hawaii, they have a version that's white on the outside, but purple on the inside. And I
So
mean, talk about a spark of joy. Like,
good.
I love eating them. They make me feel so good. And they're so nice at dinner time. They just ground you and bring you back into your body. And it's a great way to kind of close out the day. And that's kind of everything everyone needs to know about food. You just eat real food, find the best quality you have. Don't stress about it when it's not your ideal. And, you know, just keep eating for the energy that you want to feel. And, know that some days you're going to be right on. Some days, you'll be learning what you need to edit. No day is perfect when it comes to food. You just do your best. And it's really all you're trying to do is just feel your body and feel your mind so you can actually live out your life and your fantasies and your dreams.
Thank you so much. That's beautiful. To me, it is giving yourself grace when you don't eat exactly, and giving grace to your food. I don't think, I'm not talking in a religious go to church way. I'm talking about just really giving thanks to the food itself and the people who created it in front of you. If you look at this gorgeous array of food, especially on your website, the pictures you have, it just made me want all those yummy, delicious salad things that you have. And just when I visualize it, I see it as eating the rainbow, which we all know we're supposed to do, but you have some beautiful pictures there. And we didn't talk about your spices, but I'm going to order some because I want to,
Oh,
enhance
thank
my
you.
food. Oh, for sure. And I'm sure that the pandemic changed the way that, your trajectory was, because during the pandemic, you weren't able to cook for as many people, or probably, I'm assuming. Now, are you a personal chef now or as well?
Yeah, I still work as a personal chef for a few families. So I go to their homes and I do custom meal prep for that family because everyone eats completely different and everyone has kind of found different things and routines that they like in their life. So for me, it's been such a great education to cook for all different types of people and learn all the different ways people eat and structure their lives and fuel themselves. It's helped me get out of my own ways and get out of my own kind of food structure and
Yeah.
see other ways that people are thriving.
So great. But where can people find you? What's
Oh,
your
thank
website?
you. So my website, starseedkitchen.com. And if you type in Starseed Kitchen or Chef Whitney Aronoff, whether it's on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or wherever you want to search on Google, you will find me and you will find my brand under those two names.
Starseed Kitchen. That's such a perfect name. I love it
Oh,
so
thank
much.
you.
Oh my goodness. My spark is ignited, and I can't wait to think about preparing some whole foods. I'm going to check out some of your recipes and try to utilize those coming up soon. And I really appreciate the information that you have shared today about high vibrational food. Thank you.
Thank you. I loved chatting with you. You asked great questions. So I hope we can do this again. And of course, next time you're in Southern California, we'll do this in person.
Yes, I hope you will come on again too, because I have more questions and I'm sure my listeners do too, but that's what I like to do, is leave people questioning. So that's, hopefully what we did. And to all my listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. I know you have a lot of choices when it comes to your podcast, so I hope you will continue listening and rating it and subscribing and sharing it. And I also want you to listen to Whitney's podcast for more amazing information and content. And I might be stealing some of her guests because I love all that they have to share as well. So I hope you all go out and eat some high vibrational foods today to live your sparkliest life. And thanks for tuning in. Shine on.